Okay. You know, they only give you 3 seconds to take that thumbnail picture. It's very tough to run all the way back there in 3 seconds. Maybe if I was a little thinner, it'd be easier, but it's not. All right, let's get you guys on the computer so I may say hello properly. Oh. Hello, everyone. Sunday, Bloody Sunday. Up until noon, I thought it was Monday today. Smart. Hello, Stacy. Hello, Michelle. It's actually just me today, Michelle. Hello, Light of the High Priestess. Hello, John C. Hello, Fondian. Hello, Rob O'Brien. Hello, Lindy Beto. All right, so let me get this blown up a little. Oh, whoops. Did that wrong. Pop out chat. Let's hit this. Okay, we're at hello, third degree. Hello, Olive Winnie. Thank you. I don't recognize your screen name. Are you new to live, or you just don't comment very often? It's very interesting. Hello, DM Cash. Hello, Scott Colhart. Hello. All right, so first we're gonna grease up the goat. Okay. And I mean that in the best possible way. Actually, that's not first. That is second. First, I'm gonna make myself a delicious beverage. I'm here. Nothing is malfunctioning. I'm here. Boy, I gotta get done with this goat. It is about to thunderstorm here once again. I've got lots of deep rolling thunder. Alexa, what's the weather like today?
Right now it is heat. It's 73 degrees Fahrenheit with thunderstorms. Tonight's forecast has just a few clouds in the sky, with a low of 73 degrees.
Well, glad to have you, Olive. Sorry that you guys had to watch me make a Coke Zero. That's not the kind of quality entertainment you came here for. Fully understand. But now we're going to lube up a goat. And I mean that in the best possible way. It is just me again today, so if you need something, let me know. Like, scene. Yeah, I'll be watching this pretty good. So I have some left here. I definitely want to use liquid nails for this. And I want to make sure I have the tool that I'm going to use ready to go. And I'm just going to make one. It's going to be easier. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put liquid nails all over this. Again, I did one coat already, and that's dry. And then I'm going to like comb it to give it the ridges that a horn has. To do that, I have to make a tool. See, this is why I back you guys up, and my wife always says, get closer, they can't see what you're doing. But if you're too close, you also can't see what I'm doing. It's a vicious cycle. And what I have here is I have some Q-tips that technically have bamboo heads. Well, they're bamboo stems. And right now I'm breaking off the Q-tip part because all I really want is that stem. If I had plastic Q-tips right here, I'd probably use those. And I'm sure I do somewhere, but these are what I found first, so these are what I'm using. The goat will eventually dry, so he won't stay greased up for long. Right now I'm making a little comb tool in order to put the grooves into the goat. So I have electrical tape. I have one piece of wood, and I'm taping other little pieces of wood to it. And I've decided to put 3 on here because that's how many would fit easily. And I love things that happen easily. I also don't need it to them to be this long. So to add stability, I'm going to tape them up here also. That's about how far apart I think the ridges will be. Now see, and this is the kind of high quality tool that I might make and then someone would throw away on me because they think it's garbage. Not so, I say, not so. I'm gonna grab another thing of liquid. I'll get a brush too. Brush it out. And then she asked me, do I look alright? I said, my darling, you look wonderful. The other 2 puppies are perfectly fine. It is Bella who is afraid of storms and thunder and fireworks. And Boris and Cheney played really hard while Bella cowered on the couch with Shannon. And we had the TV up really loud. And we hung out. Yeah, and it went on well past midnight. Hello, Michael J. Lasser. So what am I doing right now? I'm adding detail to these horns so that we can move on from that. Because this mask isn't even in order, but it's one I need to get done. And I need to get it done because I wanted to test things on this mask. Like flocking and some other stuff. I did that. what I have done, you see that right there? That is my little stabber that I use to stab the end. I have liquid nailed it down, so it doesn't work well anymore. I can't even get it out. Therefore, I need a new stabber. This will work. Hello! Okay. Remember, I had this one. Hello, Robert White. So I did that. And then, see, now you guys should come a little closer. Come a little bit closer. I know. Is that La Bamba? Is that what that is? See, that wasn't a lot of liquid nails, but now, because of what I'm doing with it, it's going to actually go pretty far. And I am going to go around to the back. Once you grease your goat, you get around behind it, you spread out the liquid nails. So I am set up to that point. Hello, Jerry Collins. Maybe I'm not set to that point, so I wouldn't mind spreading that out a little bit more. Hello, Cobwebs and Candlesticks. And Ezekiel. Good to see you guys on. I have my very expensive tool that I made to make these ridges. And I'm actually going to start in the back because I care the least about the back of it. And I'm going to run this comb back, start back. And what you guys will see is that these ridges are going to develop in this. And I'm going to come back to it, I don't know, 20 minutes or so, and calm this down a little bit. Because right now they're very tool marky, they're very ridgy. But I want it to look like those natural ridges that show up in horns from growth. Just like a tree has goat rings, like a rattle growth rings, just like a rattlesnake's tail. You can tell how old it is by counting the rattles, which is kind of a myth because sometimes they break off. In some years they don't grow a lot on their rattle, but the concept is the same. And I just like this because it gives me a natural look. And an organic. It is good to see everybody tonight. All right, so let's even up the back. Glitter is the herpes of the craft arts. That's fair. So last December, when Dark Hour did its haunted house for Christmas called Wreck the Halls, there was one actor who I gave a glitter beard to, and it worked in that he looked primordially insane with it. But also, he will post an update every now and then. He's moved since then, but he is still finding glitter. Yeah, I thought for a while there that glitter would not survive because it's looked down upon quite a bit environmentally. And if they're willing to do away with drinking straws, I thought surely glitter was next. But no, they tolerate the glitter. Maybe you can't get glitter in California. I don't know. Had some very interesting experiences 2 springs ago while working construction stuff in California. We were doing some scenic construction design out there, and it's a different world. So I'm just spreading it around. I have that good base layer down, so I'm not going to remove it entirely. But what I'm doing is I'm spreading around what I put on, so I'll be able to put grooves in it. This will help keep it lightweight. It'll also look really nice. Scared Puppy is pretty relaxed today. Oh yeah, it got way worse after I got off the air. It was way worse because I actually got off pretty early, and they just went on through the night. So you can go off track. So every now and then you'll see me go somewhere else and put lines down the way I want them to go there, because connecting these two is easy. But if I try to go around this curve, I might be at a weird angle or something, and I don't want to be at that weird angle. And this is going to dry. And when it's about halfway dry, I want to come back to it because it looks a little tool marky. I'm going to come back to it and I'm going to brush it down. But I want it to be stiffer before I do that. Okay, that horn is done. And you can see the difference between the two. That horn is not done. This horn is done. It didn't take that long. It's got to be able to dry. Hello, Brandon D. I would assume you would use edible glitter, yes, for cakes, cupcakes, those kind of things. Hope that everybody out there is doing well. What are you guys working on right now? Biddlebooze. I would love to find out the etymology of that nickname for grandchildren. Concrete Gillman. Is that good? Did you intend to make Concrete Gillman? Or was Concrete Gillman an accident? That's not something I can easily read and say, yeah, that was on purpose. Tombstones. Cool. Awesome. Like a wrestling championship belt. That's kind of fun. Smoking, blinking dragon. Sounds awesome. See how I'm kind of curving here? Thanks, weird kid. Now I'm making sure that I go and I put the lines the direction that I want them so that when I get to that, I stay on target. I'm just running this comb through in order to make all of these grooves. Electric chairs are kind of fun. I like to make a good electric chair. It's a nice homage. When, let's see, what year was it? Probably 2004. I made, not an electric chair, but I made one of the torture chairs with all the spikes. I made one of those, and I made two other pieces of torture equipment. And I used those, I took good pictures of them, and I made plaques for them, explaining them. And I used those to sell me as a maker of dungeon exhibits to Ren fairs. So, decent chance the Ren fair near you has some torture equipment that I made. For a while there, I made a lot of it. I stopped doing that because it was depressing. You can only make so much torture stuff and then worry about the people who are buying it. So much. I didn't feel good making that. All the things that I made had really made someone's life miserable for a little while. Michelle, which Shannon are you talking about? Me and my wife? Or are you talking to someone else? Brandon, yes, we have done some of that. Oh, yes. Before we were even dating, I learned that Shannon was the queen at the Renaissance Festival, so I made it my business to work there, get a job there. And because at the time I was stalking her because I knew we were supposed to be married, and she didn't. No, Shannon was the queen at Scarborough Renaissance Festival. She was Queen Anne Boleyn for 25 years. And that is like day to day, like time in costume. She was Queen Anne Boleyn longer than Anne Boleyn was Queen Anne Boleyn. And Shannon decided to retire some years back. And I sort of stepped away from every day at the Renaissance Festival. But I do still own the Monster Museum. And I love to go out there and play with the crowd and talk to folks, so. Not enough right there to get the effect I want. And this is going to dry, and it's going to strengthen, and it's going to make this horn stronger, better, faster, harder, stronger. Yeah, all that. I have a cage tutorial coming up for YouTube Wednesday. It may be this week if I have time to work on it tomorrow. If not, I'll do something else this week. But someone requested the cages from a movie with three witches. It's a kid's movie from the 80s. I forget. Would I give the album? What is it? Because I bet my wife knows about it. Hocus Pocus, that's it. It's the cages from Hocus Pocus. I'll be doing that. And over here doesn't have nice definition, so I'm going to add some. Yeah, it was Hocus Pocus. There's kids in cages in Hocus Pocus, and I'll be doing a tutorial on how to make that style of cage. And you can actually see the color difference where this is already kind of curing up a little bit. Yes, it's already getting stiff. Alexa, countdown.
Alarm for what time?
20 minutes.
20 minutes, starting now.
I've never seen Hocus Pocus either. Everybody says it's awesome, but I'm just not, I can't get into Bette Midler. I can't stand it. I don't know. I'm terrible. Well, I will check it out, Brandon. I'll ask my wife. I bet she knows about it. In her time there, she, well, let's just say she knew a lot about Anne Boleyn and many of the other wives. So this technique that I'm doing is really, it's just to add some detail and some interest to these horns. Beaches. Did someone get an axe in the face in the movie Beaches? I'm more intrigued than I was before, that's for certain. You know what else I've never seen that people would be surprised? I've never seen the Rocky Horror Picture Show. I've never seen it. I don't really know what it's about. It's a musical, so I'm not as into musicals. And a lot of screen time of a guy in lingerie. So, I don't know. I can't. It doesn't sound like a lot of fun. Yeah, I know. I just haven't seen it. I will not forget about doing a Bite-Mare tutorial. Alexa, remind me to do a Bite-Mare tutorial tomorrow at 2 p.m.
Okay, I'll remind you tomorrow at 2 p.m.
Yes. Sorry, Rob. Sorry, man. I know some of the music now because it's pop culture. How could you not know it? See, saying that Meatloaf is in something isn't necessarily like a super stamp of quality, just for the record. It's not supernatural. It's not monsters. Okay. So, I'm going to set this somewhere else. Now, my favorite Tim Curry role has to be Darkness from Legend. Love Tim Curry. Almost any Curry, really. I'm going to get... I saw Clue when I was a kid, but again, no monsters, no sword fighting. I don't really watch those. And now it's time to pay the Krampus. Wait. Rocky Horror Picture Show has aliens in it? Sounds way better. High above the down. Riffraff, magenta, Frank. What? See, like I've never heard of or known that. I saw enough of the movie one time to know that apparently there is a bridge that washes out. Which I think of on occasion now because I live near a bridge that washes out quite a bit. Wait, Ezekiel, you haven't seen Princess Bride? You haven't seen The Princess Bride? That's probably my #1 favorite movie. There's a lot. There's like a top 5, but Princess Bride is pretty close to the top all the time. Yeah. Warms my heart too. Oh, Ezekiel, that's terrible. If I if I was sure that Australian DVD players could play American DVDs, I would mail you one. Cobwebs, I'll just take your word for it on that. Didn't even know she was in it. What's cool about LEDs is that you can just paint right over them and they're going to power through whatever it is you put on. Never bet with a Sicilian. When death is on the line. What a great movie. Every now and then I will yell at my wife and I will say, "Gonna go back to where I found you, unemployed, in Greenland?" And then she said, "What'd you say?" And I said, "Nothing, baby. That's what happens. That's how that goes down." And as a kid, I loved the idea of sword fighting before I really got to learn how. So the whole sword fight scene was wonderful. And you know what? My favorite sword fight on film is in that movie, and it's not the one between the Princess Bride and Inigo, between Dread Pirate and Inigo Montoya. My favorite sword fighting scene in any movie is in. He finally sees a six-fingered man for the first time, and 4 guys come at him in the hallway, and he kills all of them in 3 seconds, and then quickly remembers, oh yeah, there's one behind me, and then just does one of those and stabs the guy behind him who's like trying to get up, and it's beautiful, it's succinct, it's efficient, and the six-fingered man really thought that he was going to have. Those 4 guys are going to take him out, and then so the six-fingered man then runs away, and it's just wonderful. That efficiency in sword fighting is really nice. Could give you a lift to the airport. Oh yeah, I mean that's good. That's a lot of fun, Jason and the Argonauts. But I meant as far as quality of the sword play and efficiency. They did good, but in The Last Samurai with Tom Cruise, who I realize is a love-hate celebrity because he is kind of a pile of weird. I get it. I tend to enjoy the movies that he's in. I don't think I'd want to have a conversation with him at a party. I would not use landscape fabric because it doesn't crumple very well. It crumples more like paper does, so I would not use landscape fabric. I guess you could. You certainly could. Remember, you can spray paint any fabric black. Yeah, before I have thought about taking this and cutting out these teeth and putting in my other latex teeth and making him a vampire. And I thought about making him a Nosferatu, but I didn't need to. Hello, Brian. We're working on a white Krampus today. I'm just bringing this skin tone up right now. I've never seen The Princess Diaries either. Scott, don't you come to me with your "it's so hot in Pennsylvania" business. I'm in Texas. Yeah, I'll say pretty handily that's my favorite film. It is that mixture of action and humor and fantasy really kind of shaped my life. And that's a movie that if I scroll by it and it's on, I'm going to watch it, commercials and all. If you didn't see Brian, last night I did the wiring for him on a live video. I wasn't on very long because of the 4th of July fireworks. Really were scaring my doggo, so I left to kind of take care of the family. I've made a couple hundred Krampus masks. Yeah, that's fair. One of my highlights, though, is that I have sold Krampus masks to a theme park in Austria. That's pretty cool because that's, you know, kind of where they come from. So they're willing to import Krampus masks. I feel good about that, what that says about my work. And now I'm just looking for the flesh tone and where it's a little lighter. I'm going to let this dry. That might take a minute. Well, Krampus is a whole, like, race, you know, it's a whole species. So, Warren, if you do that, let me know. I'm down, okay? I would love to go and see some of the big, real Krampus parades. And I don't really paint any of this because I put hair over it, so. Michelle, you should. You should see it. In my opinion, it is a lot of fun. Okay, so I could turn the fish man into a Krampus. It might not be a good Krampus, but I could turn him into one. Change the teeth. Add horns and hair, you know? I mean, add ears. I would add ears to it, too. And it looks like I'm just sitting here. I'm waiting on my face to dry. I don't want to really start anything else. Because I should be able to get another dry brush layer on that. Okay, probably dry enough. VHS, gotta love it. I will say it's worth buying. And watching it every now and then, I would say it still holds up. You know, it's not like, you know, the humor hasn't gone stale or anything like that. These guys are on the website, and I think these have gone down in price since, I think these guys are, well, it should be 100 because it's a latex mask, 125 because there's hair on it, there's LEDs on it, so 150, and then horns that I make, and the horns would make it be 175. So this should cost $175. Very 80s soundtrack, Ezekiel. Very 80s. Which my favorite 80s soundtrack, by the way, is Lady Hawk. Yeah, so many keyboards and synthesizers. Do I do yes, I do. I do, normally I do mostly costumes. I do full costumes head to toe. But right now, because of the way the world has changed, I'm making my money doing masks. So it's easier for me to get people to buy a $100 mask or a $200 mask than it is to get them to buy a $1,200 stilt costume when the world is a little bit uncertain of how Halloween is going to fall. I'm a very much a niche guy. I'm a haunted house costumer, so, you know, yeah. I liked the one that Kevin Smith was it Kevin Smith who did Krampus? Anyway, I enjoyed the Krampus movie that was just out recently. I really liked that. It was fun. It was well done. Michael Daughtry, yeah, that's who did it. Same guy who did Trick or Treat, and that film was a masterpiece. What is some of the most underrated creatures or less made from a horror aspect? So, how do you guys feel about getting weird this evening? Would you be okay if I got a little weird? Because I could talk about that a little. I actually taught a class on it 2 years ago at Transworld. And it was top 10 underutilized monsters in haunted houses. And I think I should be able to fairly easily find that class on my computer since we're right here. Alexa, stop. Ooh, wait, that's for my goat horns. I gotta go touch my goat horns. You know how it is. Alexa, countdown, 10 minutes.
10 minutes, starting now.
Well, they have those little, like, stiff peaks, I guess, from the liquid nails, and I have to wait for it to cure a little bit, and then I can touch those down, and it just looks more organic and natural. Look. Is that the Evan McCain that sings the song I'll Be? I almost had that played at my wedding. I'm looking for a thing on classes. Here we go. Word is opening. Word, yo. I like Edward McCain. Okay, so Realms, do you ever try props or mask? Can I get more information from you on what you're asking me? I do make props, I do make masks. So yes, I've tried them. Well, we're not 100% set up, but he's really working on it. Okay, I went through 10 overrated, and now I'm going to go through the 10 underutilized. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually put up the photos and stuff that I did on this class. And I've already taught this trans world 2 years ago. This is a very weird time. Ezekiel, they're very high-end webcams. They're just high-end webcams. They're not like super amazing, but they're pretty good. Hang on a second. Oh, different underrated monsters. Top 10. It was a top 10 type list. I may not have that anymore. But, all right, so top 10 underutilized monsters in haunting, okay? Top 10 underutilized are, I said, man-insect hybrids. What could be cooler than a spider creature? The costume is more intensive, but it taps into people's innate fear of insects. These are super effective when supported by a good set. Then I said fishmen. With the right mask, these are actually pretty easy to pull off. I always go with a yellow rain slicker suit and a nice fishman mask. Has a lot of H.P. Lovecraft overtones, and I think it's viewed as a more intellectual startle scare character. Werewolves. My favorite character in haunted houses, hands down. There's something that is fun and freeing for an actor to just let their beast down and act a little wild. They can fit in almost any haunt and are a great boots on the ground scare character. Trolls! Everybody's heard of trolls, and they've been a fantasy staple since the 60s. I think right now is a perfect time for trolls to reemerge as haunted house characters. They have a physical presence and a scary look, and they can also banter with the guest in a Billy Goat's Gruff kind of style. So that's like a fairy tale character that you could bring in, you know, which is kind of cool. Wendigos and Yetis. There's something awesome about a hairy horned biped. If they are on stilts, even better. When a fanged, furred creature is leaping out at you, part of your brain reverts to being a prey animal, and that is exactly the state that you want your guest to be in. There's also a visual power to a furry, hairy monster that is white. There's something that says, I don't mind standing out, I don't mind being white, and I don't mind you seeing I'm coming, I'm going to get you anyway. To me, that's really nice. I also have local urban myth characters. As an industry, we could do a better job at tapping into our own local lore. How many areas have a hook man or a goat man? The Ohio grass man or melon heads? Some haunted houses use these to good effect, but there could be more, and I think people are ready. And I also have witches and hags. They've certainly made a comeback in TV and movies, so they are ready to be accepted again by our audience. Putting magic in your show allows you to do anything with magic as the excuse or reason. Witches can be anything from ugly hags to sexy Elvira types. These could be embraced by your cast as much as your audience. I also believe they are one of the most empowering female characters out there. Apocalypse. I'm kind of an apocalypse guy at this point. The trend is growing, and maybe not as much now. Remember, 2 years ago, no one thought the apocalypse was coming in 2020. The trend is growing. Costumes can now be easily found or put together, and I think apocalypse scenarios and characters could be the next inbred or redneck of the haunted house world. This will produce some amazing costumes in upcoming years. Ghosts. In popular culture, these are huge. More classic characters like these would be great in haunts. We use a few, but nowhere near enough in my opinion. They can do almost any style of scare and are 100% relatable to guests. Every guest knows what a ghost is. Look at the response that we got here when I made a sheep ghost mask a few weeks ago. Ghosts sound tired, but they're not. People are ready for ghosts again. And hunchbacks. Similar to an asylum character in what you can do with them, but the hunch and the walk really help pull a character out of almost any actor. Could be a lab assistant variety or the church bell variety of hunchback. Any kind of a subservient type of hunchback. For many years, I was medium height, medium build. I got beefier kind of as I got older, but I was medium height, medium build for a long time. So I really started working the characters that fit that range of the Wolfman and the Hunchback, and I did a lot of those. And I've been very successful with them as far as using them in a haunted house. So there you go. All right. So those were my 10 characters that maybe the world should see a little more of. You guys tend to see some of those because I make what I think haunted houses need. So I have been making those. Anytime we mention the apocalypse or Mad Max, I look forward to the soliloquy that Cobwebs and Candlesticks puts out about Tina Turner. It warms the heart how enamored he still is. If you guys want, I can actually post that Word document onto the Creepers page if you guys are interested in that. The first half of that document is 10 characters that I think are overused, and then there's the 10 that I just went through that are underused. Give me one moment, and I'm going to send it to Stacy, and I will make her post it. Alexa, stop. bit slow because I'm actively live streaming. Okay, I've set that to Stacy now. There we go. Yes. Haha. Oh. Okay. Yes. Work, 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 work. Yeah, you wonder which list clouds are on. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, let's move on. Because I can only hear about cobwebs as junk for so much. No more than 4% of my evening should be devoted to cobwebs as junk. And I'm going to say that's higher than I would like it to be. Oh, yes, my timer went off for my horns. Thank you very much. I don't know who said that real quick, but yeah. Janine Lorenz, thank you for telling me to go touch my horns. Not in the same way that Cobwebs was touching his horns. I actually grabbed a brush, and I'm going to brush those down. And I can ink those, and I just think once I ink them, I do like a rub out technique on them. They look lovely. See, now they're stiff enough where this brushing doesn't mess them up. Just calms down that tool look. Brushing away some of those little stiff peaks. Okay, perfect. All right, got that. You're good with nagging. Why, thank you. So now I have my flesh color, and I'm adding a little bit of white to it. So I can tell you I'm going to need a designated place to do flocking. Like I'm going to have to build like Alan's flocking corner, because that stuff gets everywhere. When I say it gets everywhere, leave what that means exactly to your imagination, but it gets everywhere. I had it in my eye. It's wonderful. Sometimes when I say stuff is wonderful, I mean it is not wonderful. Flock beans. bringing up that flesh tone. Dance under the name Flock Beans. Okay. I really want to punch a polar bear one day. Not because I don't like them. I do like them. I mean, it would just be nice to give a polar bear a solid right cross. You know what? If it was a nice polar bear, I wouldn't do it. I'm not out to just like punch him for no reason. But if a polar bear gives me a good excuse, I will gladly allow that to be my last act, is punching that polar bear. Yeah, okay, but Rob, you have to understand, I know I'm not even going to hurt the polar bear. He would barely notice that I punched him. He'd be like, what was that? Why'd you do that? You know? He wouldn't even get mad at me. So for the record, it's been a while since I painted a Krampus, so I'm having to hop onto my own website to look at a reference picture to make sure I match the paint job. Yeah, exactly. See, I could be one of the few people who have punched a polar bear. I've already punched an alligator, because you know they had it coming. I punched a crocodile, I punched an alligator, I punched an emu. It's been a long time since I saw the 7 faces of Dr. Lau. Krampus. Got its own section. I really haven't been to the website very much. Okay, yeah, that's what I would do. Browns. Yep. Here. Juan fried. Let's call them little people, as some folks are very offended by that term. But I have punched a little person. She deserved it. She punched me first. I have heard of that, and I would love to also punch a camel. Yes, I could show you how to make a fat suit. Let me. The PTM video is going to be in a couple weeks, actually. Nice. Sometimes you gotta punch a goat, guys. It happens. And if I get to, well, when I get to Australia, I should say, and the opportunity arises, I'm gonna punch a kangaroo. Because they seem like jerks, and I know that they can also take a punch. Like they wouldn't even mind. Well, Plastic Ninja, you're not wrong. I didn't want to bring that up. And for the record, guys, I love animals. I really do. But I also love to punch stuff. Like if Jurassic Park were around, I would completely sneak a punch in on a T-Rex. Yeah, that'd be awesome. I moved you over here so you could see better, and then I pointed you the wrong direction. I am bad at this. Why do you watch my channel? I'm terrible at this. I need a handler. Shouldn't be left alone. If you had to sculpt a movie replica to make some cash fast, who would you sculpt? I'd probably do a full-size leprechaun from the movie Leprechaun because enough people ask me for it and I don't do it. Nice. I've also punched some fish when we were diving. We were snorkeling, and they were biting us, so I punched them. That helped. Okay. All right, so we're getting real close to airbrush time, guys. Mystical, magical airbrush time. Mystical, magical airbrush time. I've had kangaroo burgers. They were pretty good. I did not like ostrich burgers. I thought it was stringy and tasted vaguely of socks. So let's go ahead and do the brown airbrushery. Laura! Yes, I've been punched by Laura many times. Okay, getting myself some air. So a lot of people talk about, like, you know, being chased by geese and stuff. I've never been afraid of geese. I've had a goose that chased me. I turned around, and yeah. We also were able to. I had to go catch a Canadian goose that was injured. It couldn't fly. They're amazingly lightweight. Amazingly lightweight. I like gator. Gator is tasty. This color is called Havana Brown, and there's a song about Havana, East Atlanta, ooh na na, and I think about that song a lot when I'm messing with this ink. That's all I have to say about that. Here's why T-pins are cool. They have that little loop on the end. And I can put it inside of here and spin it around. It's like a little mixer. Getting my ink all mixed up. There we go. Crocodile, possum, shark, snake, emu. I don't know if Shannon would let me eat a koala. What this is doing is I'm just softening this paint job here because it's a pretty harsh paint job if you're dry brushing. And the airbrush kind of automatically feathers a little bit. The Krampus has a full mane of hair, normally not a goatee. Okay. Y'all are weird. Just gonna say that. Okay. Maybe it does, Janine. Maybe it does. All right, so now we're on teeth stuff. Teeth stuff. Oh. Laura, are you still watching? Kercheval? If you're still watching, were you weirded out by the video of me dancing that Stacy shared on the YouTubes? Laura is a little person, and she is not a fan of other little people. She says they weird me out. I don't think she weirds herself out. Weird kid. You asked me that before, and I answered. I don't think he'll have a goatee. He has a mane of hair all the way around. So he's going to have big horns, and he's going to have white hair all over. I'm hitting all these teeth a second time. And I might as well I'm going to hit around the mouth a little bit more with the airbrush. Got to find a pair of glasses because I need them. I know, I buy like 4 or 5 pairs of glasses and then I can't find them. Welcome to needing glasses, I guess. Alexa, where are my glasses?
I recommend retracing your steps.
Thanks, Alexa. Fat lot of help you are. Oh, I found them. Thanks, Alexa. Alexa, thank you. You were helpful.
Thank you.
They're going to have a curve. Yes, this mask is $175. I try to be reasonable on my prices. Well, Lockhart likes his beards. Yeah, when me and Laura both have a little bit of a temper. And every now and then she'll look at me and she'll go, I'm about to start headbutting crotches. And I can't take that. All right. I need glasses. Glasses. Getting older. Okay. I tried to know what reasonable means. Well, I'm not saying that she doesn't headbutt crotches. I'm just saying I'm amused when she announces she's about to. Okay. So that there is airbrush. Let's see what his eyes look like right now. That looks nice. Plastic, I think that she has mad headbutting crotch skills. When I used to teach a wrestling show at Scarborough Renaissance Festival because English wrestling was, I guess they just called it wrestling, was a big sport back in the Renaissance. And I taught a show on wrestling, and she would kick a lot of ladies' butts. I think she was cheating by using her natural low center of gravity. That is a very kind statement, ruggedly handsome. I probably will not, but it depends on what Brian wants me to do. I don't ship it to Virginia. I would honestly right now give it about a week and a half. Simply because I would give it about a week and a half at least to get to Virginia, simply because the mail is just taking longer right now. I'm not sure exactly what's happening, but things that normally take 3 or 4 days to get somewhere are taking 7 and 8 days. So I would say at least a week and a half, maybe even 2 weeks to get from Texas to Virginia. Okay, I like that. I'm happy with that. It's time to work on horns for this. First, let me go touch my goat. Do I have a favorite monster movie? I kind of love most monster movies. Favorite? I really love Pumpkinhead. I really love The Wolfman. I think the new version with Benicio del Toro is actually great. I like that one a lot. That's going to be too wet to paint, but I can flatten out all those boogers. Okay, there we go. That means we're going to sit over her up. Then Brian, I think I am going to blood the snot out of it once I get that white hair on, because that'll be beautiful. You know what? Something about a mask that with white hair that gets all bloody. Yes, Laura, you cheat. I didn't stutter. I also think that she cheats in haunting, because there are a lot of people out there who already have a fear of little people, and she will chase them until they die from it. And I have no such natural advantages. So I always say that she's cheating. Some of the most fun nights of my haunting career have been when me and Laura were suited up, chasing people around various and different places. Realms, I don't have any promo codes. Hang on a second. I do feel where you're coming from, Realms, because I am a professional mask maker, so I too don't have a lot of money. Well, see, because her legs are short, I give her 6 or 7 steps. So she gets more. And at that point in time, while I have the 3-step rule, I'm not saying that I always enforce or do the 3-step rule myself. I'm very much trying to get Laura to trans world again. Yeah, weird kid. Again, you asked for monster movie. I'm going to say Pumpkinhead. I'm going to say, boy, there's so many cool things. The Unnameable, really cool looking monster in The Unnameable. It's a ratio thing. Okay. Boom, shakalaka, boom, shakalaka, boom. Let's set up some horns. That's horns. Hello, Demon Face. Hey, thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Or ma'am. I don't know if Demon Face is male or female. There are lots of people who don't know about the Krampus Parade. I try to inform them and make their lives better with that knowledge. That's all I can do, man. The Entity was pretty good, yes. There is a low-budget horror movie called Dead Birds. It's pretty nice. There's a lot of great-looking werewolves out there. I enjoy Project Metal Beast. That's a good werewolf. There is a comedy, horror-ish sci-fi movie called Evolution. And there are some blue monkey primate type monsters in that movie Evolution that are really good. I also like the movie Congo. In Congo, they have some gray apes that are pretty awesome and frightening. I really like the Werewolves from Underworld. I don't know if they're straight werewolves. They were right to call them something a little bit different. Yeah, I did like them. Troll Hunter is great, you're correct. One of my favorite rides that they don't have it anymore, it was at Epcot. It was underneath, it was a boat ride. It was called the Maelstrom. And there were trolls on it. It was in Norway in Epcot. And you had to go in, and it was kind of hidden. It was my favorite ride, and because they had trolls. But I digress. Yes, in Norway. That was my favorite ride at Disney. Kind of lame, but it really was. Oh. No, this won't do it all. There we go. Yes, I love that troll. I've never been a fan of that one. It's a small world. You know, children and stuff. Generally not my thing. The apes made from trees. I think that you are referring to an M. Night Shyamalan movie that had some cool, rooty tree ape monsters in it. You're a male demon. That's good to know. Yes, I have seen Troll from the 80s. And you know what? That reminds me, Ghoulies. The movie Ghoulies has some really fun little monster designs in it. I love those little guys. Michael Lasker, I think it was Lady in the Water. The Lady in the Water, I think, had the apes made out of roots. And I think apes have a nice scariness because they kind of have a bit of the uncanny valley going on. They're so close to human. Yes, Krampus masks are normally made out of stone birch or beechwood. Really, really good stuff. but they're difficult to wear and hard to see out of, and they weigh a lot. Realms, where are you located? I understand that you are 15. Please do not give me an exact location. That would be bad. Critters is okay. I don't think their design is especially amazing. Their design is okay. There are no ghoulies. All the critters look alike. So, lather, rinse, repeat. Okay, there's 100 of them. Great. But the ghoulies, there were a lot of different ghoulies, and they all looked different. And I really enjoyed that. I also like magic as a reason for things. So I thought that the whole ghoulie summoning and whatnot was actually really fun. There was also a horror movie called Meridian, which was by Full Moon. There's a little bit of the unclothingness in it, so be careful of that. But the monster in it looks awesome. Looks very similar to the Bram Stoker's Werewolf version of Dracula. I am wearing glasses now, Jake. This is Old Man Hops. I need them for detail work. Yeah, I wear glasses. And I get mad every single time I have to put them on. Do you know how far Mount Airy, North Carolina is from, like, Greensboro, North Carolina? That's not that bad. When you turn 16 or whenever it is that you get a driver's license, your world will get exponentially bigger. That's just kind of what happens. I was not able to own my own haunted house until I got a car. And once I got a car, I was able to own my own haunted house and get things set up, and it's a world changer. We're going to make some Krampus Horns. I made two shapes like this, and I made two halves. I'm going to glue those two halves together. To facilitate that, I am going to bevel the edges of this a little bit. Yeah, I am willing to bet, Realms, that you will be able, I will be a future mall Santa. You're right. And actually, being a mall Santa is in my long-term plan. Simply because I've spent a lot of time destroying children in haunted houses, like wrecking them. Some of those kids that I scared will not be the same. So, I figure it is my due diligence to make up to society by in later years being a very good mall Santa. It's part of my life plan. I think that I will owe people. Good night, Jerry Collins. We do need a mall Krampus. Actually, at dark hour, one of the things that we do is we do a photos with Krampus event, where people can come in and take pictures with Krampus, as opposed to taking pictures with Santa. And it's a very loved event. People like it. We get hundreds. Hello, Chad Smith. Carl is Santa every year at our Christmas show. And boy, I'll tell you what, if malls didn't have a nail in their coffin going into 2020, it's going to be hard to get folks to go to a mall now. We have Krampuses. We have a Wreck the Halls show, and we always have Krampuses in that one. Sometimes as many as 10, 15 Krampuses in that show. Simply having a very scary Christmas time. So I'm cutting a bevel into these horns. I've already cut them out, but now I'm cutting them so that I'm knocking the corner off of that. So it's a 45 down here, and then way more than a 45, so it's almost blade-like. Realms. I have 3 videos already on how to make horns, and you're watching this video, and you're watching me make horns right now. So ask any question that you want, and this is a video on how to make horns. Ask me any question you want about this process. It is not hard. Yeah, there's a lot of folks in North Carolina. I, too, must make it the journey one of these Christmases. I know Ryan out at Lake Hickory Haunts. At one point in time, I was going to make some stuff for him this year, but 2020, we'll call it. I'm going to go ahead and put the glue on. And then while it's drying, I'll go get a heat gun. Because you don't want to put these guys together while they are not warm. You want them warm. Oh yeah, Black Friday, that's going to be different. You probably only feel lonely because you're 15, you hang out in a dark bedroom, and you listen to goth music, and that makes you sad. But rest assured, there are lots of haunted house people out there in the world. And the world is so much smaller than it was when I was growing up, simply because of the internet. You and I are having a fairly casual conversation when we are about 1,300 miles apart. I'm just saying, if you did, it might add to the loneliness, so be careful. Yeah, Jake, what the heck? You got any new videos? What are you doing during the apocalypse? Jump on him. Get him. He probably only popped in to mock me. One of the things that I admire about Jake Farmer, aside from his really good work ethic, he knows what he's doing, is how little time he spends on social media. So odds are very good he just popped in to say hey and left. Or he just answered your post and there he is. Now I feel weird that I said nice things about him. I take it all back, that guy's a hack. All right. Yeah, busy time of year for Jake. Normally, this year might be different. Let's get a heat gun. Heat up these horns. I know that this is the good quality heat gun that I like because it rattles. Yep, that's a sign of quality. I see. So what you're saying is, I'm the tab that you leave open, so that if someone walks in the room, you can quickly close the other tab and it looks like you're watching my video. I got it. I spent up until noon today thinking it was Monday. It's not Monday. Why am I doing this like a savage? You know how hard it would be to heat both of these fairly evenly? Time to break out the EVA foam oven. Exactly, Rob O'Brien. Exactly. I just didn't think about it. Demon face, there's a lot of options on that statement that you asked. Let's just say that he's an animal. He could just be an animal. Yes, we're making horns. And if you look at the Still Thief Studios channel, there are lots of videos of me making horns. This is an animal cage that I covered in tinfoil, and I put some bars across. And I made a hole in the back that you could just put a heat gun in. Alexa, countdown, 2 minutes.
2 minutes, starting now.
This is the worst easy bake oven ever. Yes, the cakes taste awful. They're chewy. It's some kind of an animal cage, yes. It's a metal pet carrier, basically. It's got a slide lock, but I have a magnet on it to just keep it shut. And the on-deck things I normally put up here, so that these guys were getting a gentle warming. Simply having Is the sound slow? thank you pin shot. It's aluminum foil and an animal cage. It's very simple. Please don't be too impressed. I make a lot of EVA foam helmets and things, and this is a lifesaver for that. Alexa, how much time is left on my timer? Alexa, stop. Alexa, stop. And it's odd that my oven stopped just at that time. That was a breaker blowing because I plugged it into the same one that air conditioner is plugged into. They don't really like that. Okay, this guy, not hot enough. I'm going to pull it apart. I'm going to re-glue it. And I'm going to plug this in differently. I don't listen to a lot of music, but I guess the easy answer is classic rock and hair metal. But if I'm in the shop working, what I'll normally do is I will ask ALEXA to play popular songs from 2000 whatever. And that's not necessarily music that I really like, but it is music that, you know, got a beat. And I try to do it so I can, it's more about timing than it is about what I'm listening to. These guys will go down. Alexa, countdown 4 minutes. I listen to all kinds of stuff, but it's not because I like it. And I'll be right back. Alexa, countdown 3 minutes. But you know what? I'll listen to anything that'll move. You know, heck, Ace of Base, something that has a beat. I'd rather listen to pop or something while I'm working, or dance music while I'm working, because that it moves better. You know, there's more movement to it. What I haven't done on these guys, I actually don't mind his upbeat haunt soundtrack. What I haven't done on these guys is cut grooves to make them go round easier. So I'm just going to give them more time. Cattle eat that. Hello, Jacob Earl. Yes, metal pet cage. Like a dog crate. Alexa, how much time is left on my timer? Alexa, oh, that's right, I blew a breaker. Let me go fix that breaker. Good evening, Larry Hughes. Yes, I will turn on that air conditioner again. Okay. Alexa, what time is it?
The time is 8:33 p.m.
Oh boy. So this guy is well and curled up. I think I went, and it's very hot to the touch. Whoo, Nelly. But that is plenty of time to put a horn together.
You should always test the heat gun with your hand, or else how do you know it's working? All right, so there you go. See, this horn is like a saber-horned ibex. That bevel in there, when these meet, it gets a little bit sharp and round at the bottom. So that's a nice style of horn that I like. And this is right about the size that will keep the Krampus shippable for a reasonable amount of money. Alexa, countdown. 5 minutes. 5 minutes. I did reboot. I also kind of hear the heat gun ramping up a little bit. This heat gun is on its last leg. They changed a little. $10 heat gun, man. What do you want? Oh, Realms had a question. Thank you very much. I appreciate that happening, Mojo. Hello, puppers. Hello, White. Probably a good 30 minutes or so. I would love for you to read. Give me a moment. Horns. Realms, it wouldn't make sense for me to fix your witches, but if you want to email me some pictures, I can talk you how I would fix it. It's horns that are being getting ready to be glued together. Have to get my wife a spot to sit. And here's your chair.
God, that's funny. That's funny. Oh my God.
Because I need new here. Trying to. You need new. You need whole new heads. Okay, I got you. Since you guys are interested in the oven, I will show it to you when I get these horns put together. And that up at the end where they get sharp, that's all because I did a bevel cut. That's all I did was a bevel cut. You can see the bevel cut into it. And there's not a bevel at the bottom. So at some point, it changes from gluing together edge to edge to flat to flat. Well, you don't necessarily have to be good at sculpting. If you're not good at sculpting, then get good at painting. If you're not good at painting and you're not good at sculpting, then get really good at lighting. And if you're not good at lighting, then, well, work on that sculpting again. You know, so it's that's a visual cycle. There's sculpting and there's painting and there's lighting. one of the joys of working with Jake is that I can throw poop into a room, and if he lights it right, we're going to scare the crap out of people. And anybody who is on who is not subscribed to Jake's channel, which is Effects to Go, you should subscribe to his channel, in my opinion. He is someone who I work with formerly every day, now as soon as we can. All right, I have a pair of pornos. Oh, and my wife is here now reading comments.
All right, so where did you start?
Honey, you might want to go back and look at Realms' comments, because I don't know that I've addressed him properly.
I'm not good at smoking.
There's been a lot. Alexa, stop. Okay, look, horns. They're going to go on a Krampus.
He needs new heads.
He does need new heads. Yeah. You know what? I think we're fine. Just keep current, and they'll catch back up to us.
Okay, second motion. Based on what Alan has said, he likes, I would suggest Calabrese, Listed, Ceylon, Camouflage, and Candlelight. Nice mix of hard pumpkin and Arabella.
Okay.
Ezekiel says, Madonna would be jealous of your stomach horns.
Yes. See the wires I put in to make oven racks? In the ghetto.
I like your goat that you made. It's awesome.
Thank you.
It's what you're doing to it.
This is the back door cage, and that's just where I rest the heat gun. Am I doing more to the goat? Yes, I have to finish the goat. He gets hair, he gets a little more paint, he gets a lot more work. All right. And now, go back to this Krampus.
My shirt tonight, Harry Beastie, is from Busch Gardens. Was it Busch Gardens?
Yes, the Busch Gardens haunted house.
It was unearthed from Busch Gardens. How do you know I have? I don't know how my T-shirt is.
I'm going to go ahead and kill this because it'll be a little distracting for me.
Okay. Philip Rachel Powell, hang tight. Let me get that link for you.
What link?
Next to go.
Oh. I'm bevel cutting now the inside of the horn so that I can get more surface area with the Krampus.
He's got a Next to Go YouTube channel that
He does.
it's not coming up.
Maybe try Jake Farmer effects to go.
Well, it's Jake Farmer Fix to Go, and it just comes up as Jake Farmer, but it has all of his, still don't think that's it. Hang on. Got a lot of fun stuff. Hang on. I am not going to. Okay, we'll start with his website.
Yeah, it's just Jake Farmer, 142 subscribers.
Got it. Okay, here's his YouTube channel, Rachel?
Okay. You can
Do
see.
you have any witch heads, realms you'd like to know?
I have witch half masks that are easily turned into heads. And I do, now those, if you want to paint your own, then you can just buy blanks and attach them to styrofoam wig heads and add some hair. And blanks are $30 a piece. Again, I try to keep blanks very reasonable.
Are you familiar with Make Them Suffer? They're an Elmore based, I believe.
I am not. Now there has been a lot of band talk, and they may be talking to each other. Because you are new hopping on, it is very hard to tell. So for a little while, guys, if you could tag your conversations,
Okay,
because
check
my
this.
wife is jumping in to help me with comments, and she wants to make sure everybody's comment gets heard.
I will smooth out.
So
Alan, can you show my wife the lights in the eyes? This is Brian Whitworth, his promise.
yes, I gladly will.
I got you, Ezekiel. Ezekiel is watching music. Got you guys.
Just like your wife is the light in your eyes, this Krampus has lights in his eyes.
Love that these guys talk to each other so much.
There you go. LEDs. And you know what? Let me turn off the lights too.
Alan, I'm loving the goat mold in the back.
Yeah. Goats. What's the matter?
See, it's what to protect.
Cabrito. Taco. So any moment now, I'm waiting for it to get dark on my wife's screen.
Looks great. There you go. Bill said that's awesome.
What I really like about it is I like that,
She says nice.
yeah, I like that when you're wearing it, because there's lights up here, you never see the act, like his eyes, they never show up in photos. All you see is the LED eyes. It's really nice.
Realms would like to know, Clary, is that filled or not filled?
That is not foam filled. Get yourself a wig head and just glue it onto the wig head. You can do it.
I spent the past 2 days putting ribs on my horns. Can't wait to get them finished. I won't be doing that again, says Chance.
Chad, how did you put ribs on your horns? How did you do it? Did you see how I did it earlier today?
Philip Earl says those are freaking awesome. Scott Creighton says, sweet demon face. Alan, I have a question. If I wanted to buy a Krampus, but I want to buy an unfinished Krampus so I can paint it myself with no horns, fresh from a mold, how much would that cost? It's a blank.
We don't have a Krampus blank on the website though, do we? We might not. But if we did, it would be
Full head.
$60, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be 60. Because it's a two-piece mold, so there's effort involved in pouring it up.
Instead of using plaster of Paris, can Ultracal be used in those specific mold skulls? That's standard.
Instead of using plaster of Paris, one more time, honey.
Instead of using plaster of Paris, can Ultracal be used in those specific mold skulls?
I'm sure you can, yes. Anything that you could do with plaster of Paris, you could do better with Ultracal 30. Because plaster of Paris is stinky. That's my professional opinion.
Chad says, no, I didn't see it today. I'm doing it with small strips of thin foam.
I am going to actually do these guys, so you'll be able to see that process. But I'm going to bring my goat over here. I showed you my goat, please respond. No one gets that joke. See the ridges? I painted the horn with liquid nails. and then I ran a comb type thing through it to get the ridges. And it's hard, and it's ridgy. These are actually still drying, but they're pretty dry. I did these earlier tonight. So if you watched earlier in the live stream, you'll see how I did this with liquid nails. But you can also watch me do this one probably.
That is so cool. Ooh, you flocked, you flocked.
Oh yeah, I flocked the goat. The goat is also flocked. So there.
Kitty Face says, okay, that sounds cool, it sounds reasonable, we'll be talking about the future.
And I'll even, if you remind me when you order, I will throw in a free LED kit so that you can run LEDs like this into the, because the mask has sockets for LEDs. But you gotta remind me or I'll forget. That's not something that I do all the time. Therefore, I don't know to just do it.
No, Rodney Pope. I said web store might make a good Krampus.
Yeah, that's true. You guys are probably used to people who measure things and stuff. Not to me.
That says, that would definitely save me time to charge less for a mask.
Yeah, I don't know if you like that look or not. That's going to be your deciding factor. You might think that what I do looks like butthole, but, you know,
Hi, Rodney.
that's on you.
Ron says, awesome.
If you like that look, then do it.
Ooh, pretty horns, Janine Moran. They're so lovely.
This is a mastic. This is a butyl tape. This is a sticky stuff.
1980 says, turn, those would look great in a legend style mask.
Well, and because they're so lightweight, you can make them massive. You can make these horns be really big. So I have on the contact cement, and that is one way that I hold the horns on. And then I put on mastic, which is going to hit the mask and the horn, and it's one more adhesive to help hold this horn on. I would much rather, by the way, remember I'm a haunted house guy, I would much rather this horn pop off rather than if you get it caught in camo net, jerking your neck around, okay? Having been a recovering haunted house minotaur who was running at full speed through a scene, and those horns were actual cow horns that are mounted onto a baseball helmet, and then the mask was attached to that. It was really on my head good. I'm running, I'm on stilts, I'm going at a pretty good clip, and I'm running through a section with a camo net roof. My horn catches in the camo net, and my head goes, and it didn't hurt my neck, it hurt under my shoulder blade for some reason. And I had trouble moving the next day. So I would much rather have these horns. Yes, they're glued on. Yes, they're on there firmly. But if you're in a situation like that, the horn would come off before it hurts you, which is what I would prefer. And then you can just reattach it. Hard to do that for your neck. I have a very stout neck. Not everybody does.
Is that window adhesive?
Yeah, basically yes. This is it's butyl tape. It's mastic. It's roofing mastic. I learned about this stuff when I worked at. I did metal buildings for a while. I was in the erection business where I put up steel buildings, and well, that's what they call it.
1980s watching. You're just You're just giving him ammo.
I should be careful because 1980 is watching.
Yes.
And we use this on the roof panels to hold the R panel and keep them sealed together. And what's great about it is just the hotter it gets, the better it sticks.
Thank you, Traveling Soldier, who donated to our super chat. $5 with the request, my wife doesn't like Halloween. Tell her she's wrong and that I should be allowed to build Halloween props for your grandma.
Okay,
Oh dear.
let me present my case for Halloween. Frankly, the world needs more monsters. The more that people become familiar with things that are grotesque, things that are scary, things that are differently formed, the more familiar they become, the less scary they become. So if you want the world to be a less scary place, then you need to make monsters. I think that if everybody was more familiar with heroes and characters that looked very different from us, then it would be easy to accept people who look different from us. It would be an easier leap in your mind to accept people whose customs were different from us. If you want to make people feel like heroes, show them monsters. And that's how you make heroes. We talk a lot on this channel, and your wife probably doesn't watch that, but we talk a lot about Masters of the Universe. Every hero is judged by his villain. You want to make people better, you make better monsters. Why is He-Man memorable? Because Skeletor is awesome, and he has this whole rogues gallery of people that are awesome. Why is Batman awesome? Why do people love Batman? And no one really has warm fuzzies about Superman. Who's Superman's main villain? Lex Luthor, I guess. But Batman has the Joker, he has Clayface, I mean, he has the Riddler, he has Mr. Freeze. If you want to make a world of heroes, make better monsters. That is why you should be able to make Halloween props year-round. Just saying. Not that I'm opinionated or anything, or that I've thought about this. But I've kind of thought about this. This is what I do for a living. I have dedicated my life to monsters, and I don't think it's wasted. I've dedicated it to art and empowerment. When a young person looks at a painting by Monet, it is very easy for them to think, I could never do that. But if they look at a Grim Reaper made out of landscape fabric and a skull mask, they think that they can. And that's the first step to making art. I can do that. And then they make art.
Sailor Logs 360. I am Traveling Soldier's wife. I don't hate Halloween. I support him 100% in pursuing and building his own cause. Right. Realms. So, are you outing a free set of LEDs with your finished Krampus masks?
Well, if someone buys a full Krampus mask, it comes with LEDs in the eyes. That's how it comes. It comes this way. But someone was asking about a blank, and I said I would throw in a set of LEDs for them to wire it up themselves. I'm reconnecting. I don't know what happened there. I think I got a little choked up talking about monsters. They're important.
I'm just passing the erection question. Human Face, I have a question. The horns of the Krampus, is that from where do you buy it at?
This is floor foam, basically from Harbor Freight. I want a very particular thickness of foam because I do a lot of laser cutting. So most of mine is not from Harbor Freight, because Harbor Freight has some variants. But Harbor Freight has 4 foam floor mats for $10. It's a bargain. It's wonderful. And I think it's even 6 floor mats. They come just like this. Harbor Freight sells it, Home Depot sells it, Amazon sells it. EVA foam for many projects. 2 foot by 2 foot, and you get, it's either 4 or 6 of these that you get in a package. Worth it.
You're getting a lot of preach, all hail the hops, 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 hops. Wise words from a wise man. Alan is like Mr. Glass with Unbreakable, just not violent.
The world needs more monsters. Really does.
Monster Life, matter to. Realm says, that's how I started. My mom loves Halloween. She did not make props. I stumbled on your channel and I was like, I can make that.
Yeah, you can make that. And then you start making stuff for Halloween. And that's going to bleed over into the rest of your life. I can make that. I can fix that. I can make that work. And then things are better. Life is easier.
So what about the Realm would like to know more about the LEDs with the lights?
Email me, and I will answer every question your heart's content. Chad, you still on?
Chad Smith.
I'm about to liquid nails, heavy duty, okay, and I'm working on.
Is the sealant tape an automotive tape or a builder's tape?
It is normally a builder's tape.
Realm says he loves how positive you are. Philip Rose says that is so legendary. Chad Smith is here.
Yeah, so see how I put on that? I'm just going to paint it on. Now, the goat horns I did the other day had a lot of ugliness that I had to patch because I chopped them up like I was in an 80s slasher film trying to get them to fit and work and be nice. So they required a smoothing coat like I'm doing now, and then I actually had to go back and do the ridge coat later after that first coat dried. These I'm just going to do all in one whack because they went on real nice and easy.
Did you let everybody know Bella was okay?
I did, and people asked about Bella
Okay.
quite a bit at the beginning of the night.
Linda, Bella's doing great. She's doing great. There has been no more fireworks, so she's fine. She had a good dinner. She went swimming. Now she's beating up on her brother. She's good. Thank you very much for asking. Ezekiel says, woohoo, they have that tape at my local hardware. That is rare. I don't have to go for a 3-month search. Thanks, all. Roger says, that Krampus with those horns is my favorite Krampus.
Really?
Hello, Stephen Bishop.
That's cool.
Hey. The traveling soldier has donated $4.99 again. Is COVID going to affect your haunt? By the way, my wife is mad at my last chat. I want your shop. I want to have all that space to work. Is COVID going to affect your haunt?
Oh, of course. COVID's affecting the world. All that we can do is wait, watch, and adjust. That's what we can do. Wait, watch, and adjust. Maybe haunts are different this year. Maybe some commercial haunted houses in heavily affected areas don't happen this year. Maybe. I would probably go to a less affected area and go play at a haunt, is what I would probably have to do. It's going to affect it, of course. That doesn't mean it's the worst thing ever. It doesn't mean we're going to get upset about it. You adapt and you move on. COVID has greatly affected my business of making props and costumes for haunted houses. What was the outcome of that? Lots more live videos. YouTube Wednesday came back because of quarantine. I wasn't able to do that
This
before.
awesome community of people.
We have this awesome community of people who are kind to each other. I dare say they're friends. We're inclusive. When a new person comes on, they get welcomed. That means a lot to me. Yeah, will it affect my haunted house? Absolutely. Does it mean it's bad? It's different. And you have to know that just because it's different doesn't mean it's bad.
Hey, hey, hey. We're gonna be friends now. Okay. Thank you, John C. I will give her a big hug. Right now, she's beating the snot out of her brothers. Realm says, we are getting a Harbor Freight, and I'm so excited.
That's awesome.
Having a Mojo, thank you for repeating your question. I saw that earlier. Have you ever used 3mm VHS tape? It's used in the auto industry to attach panels. If so, what is your opinions, pros and cons?
I only used that a little bit when I was at
VHB tape, I apologize.
when I know what he meant. When I was at Universal, we used that for some fiberglass work to kind of attach pieces before we fiberglass blade over it. But it's fine. I've never used it as like a finished product and that's it. I've always used the mechanical adhesive after, so a mechanical connection, I should say, after. So
Here's third degree of terror. The monster burger dress. 7 years, our haunt fathers brought forth monsters conceived in creativity and dedication to the proposition that everyone needs to scream loud, scream on.
that's right. That's absolutely right.
Scott Creighton says the compass is looking great. Sailor Blog 360. This is the traveling soldier's wife.
Yes.
Has now donated $4.99 to our noble cause. It says, how can I help my husband, the traveling soldier, start his own haunt? Go haunt wife!
Well, what are you good at that he isn't? And I'm going to probably say organization. What are you good at that he haunted houses are a wonderful opportunity to make money through art, but they're not foolproof. No art is foolproof. So, you know your husband better than anybody else, I hope. And you be strong where he is weak. That's all. That's it. What are you good at that he isn't? He may be an excellent builder, but not a great designer, and you could help there. He may not have the mental aptitude for some of the computer stuff. And while it's computer stuff, that doesn't mean computer stuff is boring. That's mixing soundtracks. That is learning a program like Lights Alive in order to plan out light shows and that kind of thing. There's so many things that you might be good at that he isn't. Find what you're good at and make it help. Or find what he's bad at and get better at it than him. All right, so I have now painted on all over those horns this stuff, liquid nails, that's what we'll call it.
Ezekiel says, you were in the right place, Sailors and Blogs, join the Facebook community.
I would also say start small. Don't take out a loan, okay, to do a haunted house. I think it's okay to put about $10,000 on credit cards, but that's my top end. And I would say build your haunted house for scraps, and then spend your $10,000 on your marketing. If you don't know marketing, if you don't know how to market social media, how to buy ads, and that kind of thing, then you might want to look for a marketing service. someone like the company that I use is Earworm, because I just don't want to spend that kind of time. Boy, I'm gonna have to make another tool because I can't find the comb that I used to do this.
Rachel says, I honestly feel that a lot of positive change has come from COVID. A lot of fear and change, yes, but there have been many positive changes, including environmental healing. And Ezekiel says that he feels that too.
Absolutely. And, you know, how supporting small businesses, I think that's happening. I think there are some things that we're losing. The things that are changing. It's just change. And maybe it changes how you make a living. Maybe it changes how you used to make money. And maybe you can't do that anymore. That's okay. Learn and adapt and make it work.
Kevin Mojo's positive effect of COVID are so many more Karen videos. Stephen Bishop says, Alan, on your mask, you open the bag, able to put it on. Do you do anything and top of cut to stop it from ripping?
I do, and I showed that the other day.
You showed that last night, but yeah,
See that little hole? Just cut that with scissors. Then you just get to the top and you cut it around. And then that's going to keep it from running like a stocking, where the stress is spread out as opposed to the stress being all at one point. When you spread it out, it just shoots.
Rob says, evolve and look for opportunities. Scott Creighton says, adapt and overcome.
Yeah.
Rodney says, those horns are amazing. The Krampus is looking awesome.
Hey, thanks. I gotta build another tool because I lost it. Okay, so what I'm doing now is I'm doing the same thing I did earlier tonight. I'm cutting the heads off of Q-tips so I can use the stems on a little comb tool. But hey, this way Chad, who is just now showing up,
Angela says, I'm trying to say hi, but Merlin says that hands are kitties, not keyboards.
yeah.
Steven says, awesome, thanks. I'm sorry I missed that one. I got 4 slash tires on my new truck for the 4th of July. Kids walked the block and got about 10 cars last week. Wow.
Awesome. What an adventure. You will have a story to tell for years.
Where do you get
Hey, you know
your
what's
play?
cool? If they only slash 3 of your tires, insurance wouldn't cover it. But because they slashed all 4, insurance will. Turn that into your insurance company.
Where do you buy your clay?
Buy your clay locally. I buy my clay somewhere in Dallas because I live near Dallas. As long as the clay is within a 4-hour drive, go buy your clay there. Because it's very expensive to ship because it's heavy.
This may have no reason for concern, but the one thing about the liquid nails, are you concerned about a hard point for safety reasons?
It's actually not that hard. Liquid nails, heavy duty, has a bit of squish to it still. It is, I'm trying to think of something that's the same texture. I'm having trouble thinking of something. It is firm, yet pliable. Boy, the only thing that I can think of is Synergy, which I use for hard-parting foam. And, but if you don't use that, then you don't know what that is. And hey, honey,
Yes.
would you squeeze that goat horn and tell me what it feels like?
Oh my goodness.
You got it off.
If you had $1.
That one. One of the
Oh.
goat. Yeah. This guy is still very moist.
I was heading for a Krampus.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's all right.
Got some dampness to it still. But
Yeah. Well, what does it feel like texture-wise? It's not super hard.
No, that's a give.
It's like a super dense EVA foam, I guess.
Feels like a bicycle tire.
Like a bicycle tire. That's very good.
Because bicycle tires got firmness, but it also has give, unlike a car tire. Did you just make a, is that your favorite?
This is not my favorite, but this is a good horn comb for making those ridges. And you can put those as far apart as you want.
Ezekiel says, and don't do analysis paralysis. Great advice for Mr. Hobbs. And this is great advice too. 9 to 5 pays the bills. 6 to 10 builds your empire.
That's right.
Now Ezekiel, I thought it was 6 to midnight.
I say 6 to midnight.
Okay.
Because I ain't no sissy.
What are your thoughts on insurance for trade shows?
Well, normally to get a booth at a trade show, you need insurance. Like they won't let you have a booth. The big shows won't. Like Transworld, you have to have an insurance policy in order to have a booth there. So, I mean, you got to do it.
Next
And it's not that expensive.
Next t-shirt quote. Thanks, Alan. Rodney says, so you're saying if they only slash 3, then you should go ahead and slash the 4th?
I wouldn't say that out loud.
Rachel says, things you hear and have you heard anywhere else, you'd spit your drink out. Hey, honey, squeeze my horn. Teesprings. Ezekiel says, 3 a.m. if you want the big empire. Who needs sleep? Hello, Ghost Train.
I ain't messing around.
He does stay up till 3 a.m., so that makes sense.
Okay, you can barely see what I'm doing, but let me move closer. So I'm getting these nice ridges in there. And this actually, while I was making my tool and stuff, this has dried a little bit. It's a little more draggy than it would be if it was really wet. But it's still working.
Chad says he builds his empire from 1 to 3 a.m.
There you go. All right, you're gonna get little boogers and stuff. And I'm gonna come back in like 10 minutes and pat that down as this dries. Alexa, count down 10 minutes.
10 minutes, starting now.
103 people are watching.
That's a lot of people.
You've been on for 2 hours. It's 9:18.
Now I'm nervous. I've been on for how long?
2 hours.
Okay, that's
Captain Mojo says, I think liquid nails feel like stale pizza crust. Same texture, short hardness, drier, not the same taste though.
correct. Yes. Yeah, I would say a good stale pizza crust is probably fairly accurate.
Cara Beauty is back, says, what is on the bullets?
Liquid nails.
Rachel says, I'm waiting for my neighbor to set his car on fire. He's setting off fountain fireworks right next to his car with the windows open.
That's awesome. It's always disappointing when stupid people aren't punished.
Ross Reichert says, holiday slasher movie idea. Krampus versus Leprechaun versus Pumpkinhead. Who would win?
You know what? I'm so ready for that. But I wouldn't do Pumpkinhead because he's kind of licensed. And you do a leprechaun.
But who would win?
Who would win?
That's what the question is.
Well, Pumpkinhead's in it. Pumpkinhead wins.
Why does Pumpkinhead win?
Because he's the demon of vengeance. Hello? Yeah, he does.
I mean, that was really the question.
And it was Leprechaun and who else?
Leprechaun versus Krampus versus Leprechaun versus Pumpkinhead.
Oh boy, see that's actually tough because I think Krampus is pretty awesome too. But
Stephen Bishop says Pumpkinhead.
I don't think that Krampus would really go after Pumpkinhead first because Pumpkinhead is justified in all that he does because he is the demon of vengeance. called the Christmas demons so often. I think they're like demon buddies. Yeah. And I'm just looking for where my ridges look weird, and I'm making my ridges look better. We have WrestleMania 3000 happening over here with the puppers.
Philip Earl says it's great how you are making the ridges look really organic.
That's all in that little Comey tool thing.
Do you have to seal the liquid nails before painting them?
No, it just paints. I mean, liquid nails, it says right on the caulking tube, paintable, sandable. Wonderful. Alexa, count down 10 minutes.
Second timer, 10 minutes, starting now.
Alexa, how much time is left on my other timer?
You have 2 timers. A 10-minute timer, with about 6 minutes and 50 seconds left, and a 10-minute timer, with about 9 minutes and 50 seconds left.
Philip Earl says, I love Pumpkinhead. 1980 says, left fun all the way. Happen and Mojo, Pumpkinhead is actually the most vulnerable since he was human. He has a human host.
That's true. But he looks cooler.
New Nightmare Before Christmas, Pumpkins and Krampus. Some of those Scandinavian monsters are scary, says with the sequel.
Well, yes. So I guess I could start on,
Can you wait for that to dry?
yeah. Give me a suggestion.
You can fix the fish head,
I can't.
and I can't,
I can't.
and I
Yeah.
can, then I can get that out of the way,
Okay.
because all he needs is a repair. And then he can go back to the storage. There's a lot of things in here that can go back to storage. How long does it take for liquid nails to dry?
About 30 minutes or so. It all depends, of course, on how much moisture is in the air. There's other factors, but it's at least dry to the touch in 15, 30 minutes.
I used liquid nails to bond floor patches on a Jeep once. It was amazing. Ghost Train says, yeah, I just hope we get a 30th anniversary for the Ghost Train this year. So far, it's not looking good for Pete's Railroad this year.
No, it looks like it's going to be a very different season. Doesn't mean that there won't be a season. It just means that things will have to happen differently.
Realms thinks you should turn your lights off so they don't. You don't want that to happen.
Here's what's great. This will run for 3 days straight. A 9-volt battery will run LEDs really well.
Happen and Mojo wants to throw a curveball and throw Rawhead Rex into the battle.
Well, you certainly could do that, and that would make things interesting. Sure.
Could you do a beating heart prop when you can? I know this is random, sorry, it's been hard to keep up with all with this Merly all over me. This tarantula's again. A beating heart prop.
Sure. Yes. Would you want the action to be mechanical as far as electric, or would you mind a physical beating heart?
Ezekiel says, I think I need a goat mask to do a Yule Vulcan for the wife's Christmas this year. Scare the kids, nieces and nephews.
I'm actually doing a Yule goat. I have a Yule goat on order, and one of the reasons why I was practicing the flocking and all that is to make sure that I do that right. So you'll see a Yule goat coming up in the next, probably this week.
we're gonna talk obscure villains, how about a Mr. Boogedy? And that's Lisa's Yule Goat, and she just got very excited.
You might also remember the movie Rumpelstiltskin. I thought he was a lot of fun. I'm just adding screen into those eyes.
Hey, hey, hey. That's enough of that. Thank you very much. You are very sweet.
See him laying on him?
Where did you learn that?
I don't know.
Demon says, just to let you know, the sound is off of the video. It's like watching the Godzilla movie. I'm just letting you know.
That's on your end. That's not us. That's your internet speed.
Did I miss the freaking flocking?
Flocking was yesterday, so you didn't miss it. It's just recorded. You can watch it again.
YouTube said, Tarantula says, I really want a beating heart for my costume. I found a red pulsing light, and I was going to settle for that because it does look nice, but the actual movement would be awesome.
Okay, so then you're going to want a little contained servo. I'd do a servo beat. I would put it on a Micro Maestro controller from Polulu, and one servo, and all you need is the cam in there really, and you leave the arm on there, and you just program in the beat, and you'll need a battery with it. So yeah, I mean that would all fit inside of a heart, and then set yourself up just to turn it on. That wouldn't be bad at all.
Tarantula says, just look at that fishy delicious.
This is a different fishy delishi, but yes. Cheney, don't eat my table. You're weird. You're a weirdo.
Fix it?
Well, the glue is drying. This is what we do. We
Right.
put stuff on things and we wait for it to dry.
Well, then I can put him away. How about we hair Frankenstein?
We can also hair Frankenstein. Don't you take this Frankenstein?
Captain Mojo says, I'm cheap, so I would use some tubing with an air bowl up my sleeve.
Yeah, I mean, you could use a little air pump. That's why I asked about electronic or physical, if you minded squeezing it, pumping it, but...
Will Carrot. Tarantula says, well, I could tell it was different from the eyes, but still delicious. Thank you. I'm going to have to try to Google what you just said about the heart.
Yes. Polulu is the company, Polulu. Micro Maestro is the servo controller. Alexa, stop. What I like about it is that you can download a program into the little controller, and it's this big. It's like the size of 2 quarters laying next to each other. And it'll run up to 6 servos, but you'll need 1 for the heart. Yeah. I forget what I was saying. I'm sure it was important.
We're going to do hair on Frankenstein.
Right, we have a friend. So, Traveling Soldier's Wife, if you are on, you might notice that as I'm wandering around aimlessly, my wife is telling me things to do. That's not nagging.
That's not true.
She just knows that I have time. And I think about one thing at a time. What is my wife good at? Forecasting. She's good at looking ahead and seeing what's next. I am not good at that. I do what is happening right now, and that's what I do. She is strong where I am weak. I will get more things done with her here helping me. I may also have less time to just rest and stand around, but that's fine too.
How did you learn about these creatures? Do you have good source books or a place to read? I love this stuff.
Okay, so, surprise, I like monsters. I have a ton. My favorite kind of book is just a list of monsters from all over the world. And there is a couple books that I'll recommend right off the bat. It is the Carol Rose's Encyclopedias. There is one that is fairies and those kinds of creatures, and there's another one that is giants and trolls and things. So those are very excellent books on lists of monsters. But also, when I am not actively working, I'm passively working by researching on the internet and looking this stuff up. My life is all about monsters. And you would have a hard time making me believe it's not a noble pursuit. My favorite story is the Grendel and Beowulf. I love that story. One of the first stories ever written down. Can't beat it. Alexa, stop. Alexa, countdown, 10 minutes.
10 minutes, starting now.
Tradeshows says, I just can't pump it myself. I need my poor aching hands to be free for the dramatic, creepy posing.
Yes, yeah, I mean, and it's then do you hide the other hand behind your back while you're pumping this thing, you know? In a movie, you always have the option of just running your hose longer and then having someone off camera do it. But in haunted houses, it's much more difficult to work on effects like that. It takes more effort.
How about you paint the murder hornet?
Well, that's not a quickie thing while horns are drying.
But you make it seem very fast. Your favorite monster of all time?
The Wolfman. Without doubt or question, it is the Wolfman.
You could also study cryptozoology and native folklore.
Yes, you could.
Rob says my ALEXA is getting a workout tonight.
Sorry.
Good night, Stacy.
Which Stacy?
Hawkins.
Good night, Stacy. And probably Tuesday, I think, his eyes will be here. I didn't have the eyes that I wanted for him, so I had to order more eyes.
Hammer's Wolfman or Universe's
Let's just say a general Wolfman. You said favorite monster. I didn't know you meant favorite movie monster. If you
Well, there's
mean
actually
movie
two
monster,
different people asking the questions, so maybe
if you meant movie monster, then I really like the Wolfman from Monster Squad. I like his design. I like his head shape. Very classic. I just like him a lot. So now Frankenstein's hair is drying. I think now the fish eyes are ready to be put in place.
I have a mission to thin this garden.
I too am on that mission. By hook or by crook, I will. Now the fisherman has a nice screen in there. No one can see his eyeballs.
John C. says Nitro Maestro. It's only 1995.
Yes.
5 inches by 1.2.
Yeah, he's about half the size of, take a business card, cut it in half, that's how big a micro maestro is.
Are the blanks yellow like the ones in the background? This is Realms.
Yes, yes they are. They require painting.
Rachel says I found it. Thank you all. Now I just have to wait to learn what to do with it.
Yes, there's another YouTube channel called Hall Staffs, animatronic something, and that is by my friend Steve, and really good stuff. That's what he does. He does electronic type things.
Demon Face says, I like that fish mask. Is that a piranha?
Not a piranha. That is a General Fishman monster mask.
Ghost Train says, it's like Krampus is staring into my soul.
Yeah. Hair for the Krampus. I won't get to it tonight, but at least I know it's here.
Krampus will look awesome when he gets his CC DeVille haircut.
Yeah.
Realms loved your YouTube Wednesday video.
Which one?
Ezekiel saying, more dance. Demon Face says, I need a cowbell for that Krampus mask. Ralph says you like the food.
Cool.
1980 says Skeletor.
Yes. Yes, you have found Skeletor.
Do you have your first mask, and if so, could you show it?
I do not have my first mask. I am not a collector of masks. I make masks because I need them for haunted houses. That's why I started making them. That's why I still make them. I do not necessarily make them to collect them or keep them. I came about my nostalgia late in life. So
Did you finish the piranha?
I've not finished the piranha sculpt yet.
Mum-Ra is coming. Mum-Ra is coming.
Mum-Ra is coming. Mum-Ra is on the list. He could come as early as next Wednesday.
I think 1980 is like they're dancing, singing, putting on limits. Tarantula says, join the scenario where an undead guy is left in an abandoned war zone losing his mind. Some people were trying to save him, but they didn't want to be alone. Grab the head of a wandering skeleton, and it's like, I'm not alone, I have Steve.
Hooray,
Hooray,
Steve!
Steve!
Who said that?
Tarantula.
Well, it's good that they're not alone.
Frankenstein's hair is on. He'll get a little bit of a haircut. I like the hair to be shorter around the ears. Alexa, stop.
Do you remember your first mask? This screenshot.
Oh yeah, it was Bigfoot. I sculpted it in my friend Bill McCoy's garage in 1996, no, 1995. 1995.
Having a mojo says I've been nostalgic since I was 5, probably because of mother things. Lisa Iron says we can do a virtual birthday party for now.
Very kind.
Nicholas says you have to put an Elvis hairdo on a Frankie one day for a big quip, as they call it. Hair Club for Frankenstein says 33 to 10.
Yeah.
Commenting that Tarantula's Steve skull is like Wilson.
Yes.
Walk needs general treatment.
Yes.
Speaking of old age, Frankenstein looked cool, white long hair and a white beard and mustache.
Yeah, that would look cool. You're correct. I believe you. All right.
Frankenstein's done? Oh, what, you got to do the eyes?
No, I'm waiting on eyes to come in. Like I don't have eyes for him yet, but I will. Okay. Now I'm going to go touch my horns.
Do you have any wig heads you want to sell? Realms.
Realms? No. Here's why. There are wig heads near you that I assure you you could get cheaper than anything that I ship to you. If I ship you a wig head, we have doubled its price, my friend. You don't want that.
Realms said that he's doing a haunted house. He's gonna.
Realms is 15,
Oh, okay.
and Realms is in North Carolina.
Hey, I love North Carolina.
He's about 2 hours from Eddie at Woods of Terror. He's closer to Lake Hickory Haunts, it's my belief. Ryan's show, if you remember Ryan Settlemeyer.
Oh, Ryan Isengard.
Well, Ryan Settlemeyer owns it, Ryan Isengard works there.
I don't know Ryan Isengard. But I know Ryan Isengard. He says, okay, there's a Walmart here that you have.
Yeah, you could probably get them at Walmart, but a beauty supply store is more likely. And ask them if they have one with a smashed nose. You don't care if the nose is smashed, and they'll probably give it to you for a better price.
Daniel says, I'm working on my first Bigfoot right now.
But in all honesty, if you wanted to, you could also use an empty milk jug. That would work as a head form to mount a mask onto. put hair on the back, no one will ever know. It's about the same size. Who's working on the first Bigfoot?
Dead end yard.
That is awesome. Are you sculpting it? How are you making your Bigfoot?
Kevin Mojo says they sell wig heads at beauty supply shops, and some shops to be licensed to call it. Also, Sally's Beauty Supply. 1980s making bad jokes.
I'm shocked.
Stephen Bishop says it is true of picture to do a Bigfoot sculpt. 1980 says in the production of Castaways, the others in the cast complained that Wilson's royalties were based on inflation.
Bait. Read that whole thing.
Sure, I read it before I read it. I proofread 1980. I told you, he's on review status.
Okay, so tonight we did this to the horns on the goat. We did this to the horns on him. We also painted his face, and we put hair on Frankenstein back there, thanks to my wife's lovely direction. And we made horns. We made all of his horns. He didn't have those horns earlier.
Get him out of here.
So yeah, we're gonna get him knocked out, and he should ship this week coming up, with a lot of other buddies going out the door. You can say hi to Warren Cyclops over there,
Lanny,
hanging out with Skeletor.
Lanny, check out our website. We do have resin head forms on the website.
Yep, resin half mask sculpting head forms are now on the website. A lot of those will ship out this week too. With that, I think I'm gonna call it a night. It's almost 10 o'clock. You guys are awesome. Thank you for hanging out. Yeah, wife, say goodnight.
Good night. Good night, good night.
Good night, everybody. You're awesome. Go make stuff. Go make Bigfoot if you get a chance.
It's Alan and